Hi friends, welcome to Law Chat with Girja. I'm Girja Bhargav Patel, your host for Law Chat, and I am so excited for you to join us today. I have some amazing guests on Law Chat, and they're here to share their experiences and entrepreneurial journey with us, and through their storytelling, mentorship with us, because that is the whole point. We are all entrepreneurs and we're all on a journey, and learning from one another is the best way for us to move forward in our journey as well. And I have amazing guests who are so willing and ready to share their stories with us, their challenges and their victories and their achievements, and also their mindset. I just can't wait to share that with you, and I also just can't wait to have that conversation with them. It's such a privilege to have each and every one of them here with us today, and also it's such a privilege to have you listening in and tuning in. So let's dive in to Law Chat with Girja.
Hi friends, welcome to Law Chat with Girja. So today, me, Girja Moi, is the person that's going to be hanging out with you on Law Chat. And today's episode is actually going to be about pivoting, diversification, and adaptation in your business. I feel like this is something that's actually happening a lot right now, and a lot more than it happened last year in 2020, because I think now a lot of people have gone through the year, seen where they are, and now they're ready to move on or make some changes in their business. And so today I kind of wanted to talk to you about some of the business aspects of that, but then also some of the legal aspects of that. And I am going to be working off of this amazing guide, the Post-Pandemic Business Prep Guide. I actually created this back in April of last year. And, I created it because there was a lot of people at that point that were just a little bit of a frenzy and just didn't know where to go. And you felt a little lost and confused. And so this prep guide really helps kind of give more clarity to your thoughts, clarity to your vision, and then also whether what you want to do is really feasible and whether it makes sense. And so that's kind of like what we're going to be kind of walking through today as well. And that is the absolute purpose of this entire episode. And let's get started. So I know that, in 2020, in 2021, a lot of things happened and a lot of businesses were at the brink of failure, or at the point where you're just like, I have to diversify, meaning you diversify the product line or you diversify your services. You're adding different services to whatever is existing or products to whatever is existing, or you adapt. Adapting is kind of making little pivots, little turns and less, but you're still within the industry. You're still within what you do, your zone of genius. And then some people just really did major pivots where they literally moved from X to Z very quickly, and which is all absolutely okay. But here today, I'm going to help you kind of go through that and talk a little bit about what to expect legally, and then also some of the business aspects to kind of focus on when you are trying to make these changes. So kind of giving like a process and some steps for that. So I was looking it up online and I was kind of doing a little research, and I saw on HubSpot.com and also the Harvard Business Journal and some other resources out there that, in 2020, there were 33.7 million small businesses in the nation. That's huge. That's a lot. That's 99.9% of the businesses in the United States. So if you think about it, small businesses is a huge backbone of our country. And it's important that we cultivate that. It's important that we keep it sustainable as well. And so me and like many other people out there and educators out there, that's our goal, is to cultivate our small businesses and to give you guys resources to help you be sustainable, to help you be successful in your business. And so that's why it's so important to really, as entrepreneurs, sometimes I feel like I say this in every episode, but it's so true that you just jump into your business. You don't really think about all the other aspects that are there because you just love your idea so much and you're so passionate about it that you're just like, this can never fail. But unfortunately, things do fail. And a lot of businesses in their first year fail. And so it's really important to kind of have a process when you are trying to build a business. I'm not saying don't start it. What I am saying is while you're starting it, while it's all happening, have this little side note process going on as well if you didn't do it in the beginning. And so when we think about our pivots and our adaptations or our diversification, clearly there is something happening in the business, whether you're in a growth state or whether you're in a state where you have to make changes in order for your ends to meet and for the finances to make sense. There's something happening that is causing those feelings, that is causing the desire to make the changes. And so when we are going through that, we need to first figure out, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your secret petitions that you have? The ideas that are like literally just kind of zooming through your brain all the time, whether you're writing an email to somebody and the idea pops up. And I encourage you that when these things do happen, get your phone out, use the notes, and write it down, because one day you'll have to go back to it. One day you're going to want to review it. One day you're going to want to remember all those amazing ideas that you have, and you want to cultivate them. You want to start them. You want to develop them. So don't be scared. And in this guide, I actually have a vision casting section. And the reason to that is because I want to really encourage big dreams. I want to encourage big dreams. I want to encourage you to dream big and to live big, to live abundantly, in the sense of where you are chasing those dreams and you are trying to achieve those dreams and realize those dreams. And when I say chase, I don't mean where you're striving and you're stressing and you're competing all the time, getting all the gray hairs and you're losing your sleep. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is dreaming big and having the ability to know that you can achieve it. You just need to be able to tell yourself that I can achieve it, and use your anchor, whatever that anchor is. Achieve those big goals through that anchor of yours. And so when we're doing that, we have vision casting really helps you kind of figure out, what are those dreams that you had, and can those dreams be adapted into your business right now, or is it a whole nother business and doesn't make sense to do it? Why not? So once you write down your dreams, once you write down the new goals or the ways you want to add to your business. So for example, if you are a service-based company and you're just right now offering services one-on-one, is there another way you can adapt to what's happening and do like a membership program, or do passive income and adapt to your current business, but adapting in a way where you're adding passive income to that service product as well? Or are you offering products and right now you only do online retail of clothing? Do you want to start personalizing, or do you want to start adding other type of merchandise to your product line, or going to a whole nother avenue of what you're offering? So instead of just doing clothing line for your clients, you can also offer home line. And so those are the kind of things that, adaptations or diversification. And then pivot is kind of like, okay, I'm doing, for example, my husband, he has a jewelry business store. So if he is doing jewelry, now he's going to just completely pivot into some other industry like real estate. Not to say that you have to leave what's behind, but to say that you're adding to your now business portfolio that you're doing. And so those are the kind of things that distinguish between diversification, adaptation, and pivoting. And so you want to be, write down the list that you have, write down the ideas, and you want to spend some time doing this. Don't rush through this. And it could be an ongoing list. It could be something that you're thinking about right now, and at the end of the week you're going to get back to it, but during the week you'll keep writing all your thoughts and ideas. But the idea is to create a list, a brain dump of ideas of where you want to take yourself, where you want to see yourself. And if that means when you're vision casting that you're looking at 5 years from now where you see yourself, by all means do that, because that is literally, you're thinking bigger, you're zooming out, you're thinking bigger picture now, and you're not limiting yourself to tomorrow or today or yesterday. And so that's the whole point, is to just keep moving forward and keep thinking big. And so once we have our list of ideas of things that we want to do, now is where you kind of start putting it together. And you start trying to, put them in different categories, whether it's in your brain or whether it's on this worksheet that I've created for you. But the idea is to categorize now your ideas, your goals, your visions. And the point of that is that You want to see what can be adapted, what can be diversified, and what is an actual pivot. And so that will also tell you how much work will go into it, and then also how much money will go into it. And, so you'll be able to better assess your position and the direction that you're taking in that position of yours. I hate to interrupt this awesome conversation, but I have to stop and talk with you about the number one thing I'm asked about by entrepreneurs: contracts. They're vital to any business relationship and to protect your business. But I also know that entrepreneurs, especially when you're starting up, money is tight. But I would never want you to compromise on a strong legal foundation. So enter yourcontractbuddy.com, a website created by me with contract templates created and drafted by me and fellow industry partners. They're ready to use and easy to plug in immediately. And they are not restricted to any specific state. So yourcontractbuddy.com is sponsoring this episode, and you and your listener can get 10% off right now with code LAWCHAT. Yes, you heard me right. 10% off right now with code LAWCHAT. And now back to our awesome conversation. And so if we go down, the phases of pivoting or adapting or diversifying. So the first phase is to assess. Assessment and evaluation of your current business's health. What is going on in your business? Where are you hurting? And you need to do an evaluation on that. How are you hurting? Is it you're not making enough sales? Or is the cost of goods too expensive, whether your marketing is not good enough, or whether the money's just not making sense because your pricing is not good? So there's different areas that you can evaluate and to look into, because it's not literally a one thing answer either. And so this is a good time to sit down and to reflect on your business, to assess on your business, and to determine the health of your business. And so some of the steps that you can take is, what are the services that you're offering or products that you're offering? And then kind of do some analytics on it. Who is buying it? Which demographic is buying it? Or is your target audience even buying it? Or do you need to reassess your target audience now? And, so look at the product line, look at your services and see what is being consumed, what is being loved, and what is being ignored. And so that's a great place to start, because once you start there, you'll also know what things you need to keep and what things you might just need to put on the side, and put it on the side for a little while, or just completely eliminate from your business. And then when you are going to the next phase or the next step of phase one, you're looking at, what is it that my current clients need right now? What is it that my community that I have right now, not new people, you're not going out and seeking new people right now, seeking new clients, seeking new consumers. Your current community, what is it that they need right now? What is it that they're wanting? What is it that they're asking for? Great ways to find out is actually to listen. A lot of times when we have clients or customers kind of complaining or giving their criticism or critiques, those are opportunities for growth. Those are opportunities to refine your business. Those are opportunities to make your service better and for you to stand out. Because the minute you're able to hear what the pain points are in your clients or your community, you can easily address them. Now, I make it sound easy, but it's really not always that easy. But what is easy is to ask. Ask them. Put it on your Instagram, put it on your social media, put it in an email and send out an evaluation. Sometimes those answers won't come right away. And I speak from total personal experience. Sometimes answers don't come right away. And you're just like, like crickets, no one's answering. But keep on sending it. Be persistent, because persistence pays. And if you're persistent in sending out those questions, sending out the inquiries, asking, connecting with them, sending a newsletter out, or sending something, whether it's an email, whether it's on social media, have some type of engagement where you can find out what their pain points are. Another great way to figure out pain points is to kind of hang out in the different groups that everybody's hanging out in. Right now, Clubhouse is huge and a lot of people are talking. And through the talks, if you just sit and listen, you can sometimes figure out the pain points that your target audience is experiencing right now. And so go into the groups, whether it's on Facebook, on Instagram, whether it's on Clubhouse, or whether it is a networking event, whatever you have, listen, ask and listen, ask, tell me, dot, 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 and listen, because you will figure out how many golden nuggets you will get in order to make your business more effective and to serve your community in the best way. So I really encourage you to go out and figure out, what does your community want? What do your clients want? What does your audience want? Your ideal client, what is it that they're looking for? Ask the question and listen. And so once you've done the what services do I currently offer, which are amazing, which are not so amazing, and then you go and find out what clients are needing right now in the next 12 to 18 months. And then you find out what are some other services that they're asking for. Aside from whatever I offer, what are some other services or products are they looking for? What are some other things that they're looking for? And you will find out that through that assessment, you might be able to diversify your product line. You might be able to adapt to different areas in your industry as well. And so just kind of just writing this stuff down right now, because all we're doing is an evaluation. We're just assessing. It's a little more detailed than a brain dump and a little bit more intentional than a brain dump, but it's almost like you're just kind of putting your thoughts out there on this piece of paper. Now, the fourth part of this assessment, or phase one, that I want to talk about is your strengths. We are good in our strengths. That's our zone of genius. And sometimes we need to maybe edify other parts of our lives that we think are not so strong. But the parts that are strong, focus on them, make them better, become the expert that you want to become in that strength of yours. I'm not saying don't cultivate areas of weakness, but what I am saying, don't waste your time when you don't have that much time. So if you can, outsource the areas of weaknesses, or outsource the areas that are just not making the needle move for you, but you need to make it move, but you're spending way too much time trying to make the needle move in that area, and you can't focus on the parts that really make the needle move for you because it's your strength, your zone of genius. So figure out your strengths, write them down. Maybe you can have like superpower, and then you can have medium power, and then just say, gotta outsource this one. But write them down, figure it out, and then we're gonna go to phase two. Phase two is adapt and pivot. And adaptation and pivoting is kind of, they're not the same thing. And adapting and diversification can be a little bit more similar, but in my opinion, adapting is making small moves in your business that are usually, lateral moves in your business that are helping your business gain more traction, gain more volume, gain more revenue, and be more sustainable. However, and diversification also can be a part of adapting, because sometimes you need to diversify, but meanwhile you're adapting at the same time. Pivoting, on the other hand, in my opinion, is more of a bigger change. It's a big move. It could, some people say it is a lateral move, and it could be a lateral move, but it usually is something that is a big shift from what you're normally doing. And pivoting is happening right now. A lot of people are pivoting in 2021. That is almost, I think, like the theme that I've heard a lot from many people, is that I'm pivoting in my business. Now, whether they're calling the pivot a big shift or whether it's an adaptation, there's a change happening. And so when that change is happening, there are a lot of things that come with the change. And we need to be ready for that, because sometimes we want to have the change, but we're not ready for it in the sense of what it looks like with regards to your business needs, what it looks like to your financial needs, and what it looks like to your legal needs. And so if you're not prepared or have some working knowledge of what to expect, it could be a very rude awakening. And that's an awakening that I don't think any of us really want right now. So it's better to kind of plan ahead, better to evaluate and to assess. And so while we're going to the next phase of adapting and pivoting, and I have this right here, which I'm totally using this right now, guys, it's how can I serve my clients right now? So now if you go back to the previous evaluation that we did, like what do my clients need? What are some new services or products that they're looking for? You refer back to that, and now you put it into this as how can I serve my clients right now? What what are some existing things that you have? Do you already have a manufacturing system? Do you already have certain systems in place that you can easily put in new items, new things to that? So for example, if you are say you're a furniture company, you make furniture. Now, you already have furniture manufacturing systems in place. You know, you have either you have one yourself or you outsource it, but you have the facilities, you have the connections. Now, if your clients are not necessarily looking for furniture right now, or you're selling, say, high-end furniture, and they're looking for something right now that is not low-end, but a little bit less expensive, can you adapt your business in such a way where now you are also offering high-end, but you're also offering low-end as well, or a little bit lower price range as well? Can you adapt that way? You already have the facilities to do it. You already have the connections to do it. What else would you need to continue with that adaptation? And so those areas are easy to make those diversifications in the sense where you have half of the equation already there for you. The other half of the equation is marketing. The other half of the equation is getting the word out there about your business and also seeing if it makes sense financially. But otherwise, the whole part of manufacturing and figuring out the operations behind it and all of that stuff, it's figured out. You don't have to make new connections. You don't have to have new sources necessarily because you already have something there. And while I say all this, it doesn't mean that you can't find new sourcing, but you already know where to go. You already know which areas to explore for that sourcing because you have that knowledge base, you have that experience. So those are the areas where, how can you serve your clients right now? What areas do they need help in? What areas are they looking for? What areas are you crushing it in your business and you're already providing for them? Write it down. And then what impact would that make? And that's really a broad question, actually. It's not very specific. But what I mean by what impact that makes is, where is it going to be impacting financially? Does it make sense? Does it make sense financially? Does it make sense with the cost of goods? Does it make sense with how much you're selling it for? And does it make sense that people will buy it? Maybe have a beta program. You don't necessarily have to go all in right away. Have a small little product line and test the market, see if it works. Great way to do that is to figure it out and to see what impact that would make is a beta program. Smaller numbers, low cost compared to what you would be doing if it was a full scale type of situation. And then also you want to see what impact would that make that in the community. Is it really something that they're wanting? And again, the only way to really experience that is to do a little beta testing or to send out questionnaires to evaluate your clients or your community. And so those are some great ways to figure out the impact that your new ideas would make. And now another thing is that right now, things are changing. Of course, we're coming out of a crisis. Some might say we're still in it. And so what you're offering right now, is it sustainable post-crisis? Is it going to be sustainable in 5 years? Some things are hot right now, easy in, out, and you don't have to really think too much about it. And so, for example, clothing companies that started, diversifying their product line by adding masks. Not a big deal. In fact, those masks are selling like hotcakes. Whether you are a high-end brand or whether you are a low-end brand, it doesn't matter. The masks are selling. And so it's a great way to diversify for the current climate of the economy. Now, will it last in the next 5 years? Maybe, maybe not, but doesn't really matter because right now you're making that money. You're making that premium price out of those masks right now. And maybe in 2 years, you may not need them and it's okay. It's going to be an easy elimination from your business. But what may not be an easy elimination if you're doing something just for today is something that costs a lot of money and maybe it's only good for today. It's only good for today's climate. And so think about whether you can sustain this post-crisis. And if you can sustain it, would you have to adapt again or would you have to diversify it again? And if so, make the plan. Not to say you can't do it, but have an idea out there. Make the plan forward. have something written out that, okay, if this were to happen and this was to get better again, this is how this company or this would, adapt to the new situations again. That way you have a peace of mind because you already have a plan of action. There's a peace of mind there because there's a plan of action to tackle those situations as well. So that's kind of like the feasibility and the sustainability of your business that you're going to be trying to prepare for. Now, phase 3 is growth and maintenance. And that is something that's really important. And I say that because my word of the year this year is cultivation. And the reason for that word is because last year I just grew, and I grew. And that was my word of the year last year too, fearless growth. And it was because I wanted to grow and I didn't want my fear to come in the way. I wanted to do it scared, and I did it. I started my contract template shop last year. I started my podcast last year. I started thinking about other businesses last year and collaborating last year. So there was a lot of growth, a lot of blessings that came in 2020 as well. But with that though, there was not enough cultivation. And I realized that towards the end of the year that I needed to cultivate my community. I needed to cultivate my businesses. I didn't just adapt, I pivoted. I added to my law practice, I added a whole nother business where I'm selling templates. That was somewhat of a diversification of my services, but it was also a big pivot because it's a whole nother industry where it's not legal services per se, but it's more product-based legal services. And so, I offered that, and then my podcast is a total, pivot as well. And I'm so happy for them because they're definitely channels for where I can share my knowledge and cultivate my community as well. But cultivating my community is one thing, which I need to do as well, and I want to do. But another thing is to cultivate your business. And cultivating your business is really pouring and working on your business, making these ideas. And so this pivot guide is essentially working on your business because it's really putting a lot of different thoughts together, but coming out with a plan of action for the pivot that you're wanting to make, or for the adaptation or diversification that you're wanting to make. So have an idea of how you're going to maintain the growth. And what that means is, how are you going to keep the prices sustainable for your end and for your consumer's end? How are you going to market? How are you going to spread the word about your business? How are you going to monitor and data feedback? How are you going to cultivate them? Are you going to be doing email sequences also? It's the small little minute details that come in the way of us sometimes wanting to grow, but so needed. So, things like email sequences, things like having, events for your business, or different types of like challenges, for example, or having, sales for Black Friday. Just small things like this that really can help you make the needle move. And that's what you want to do. So what are some ideas? What are some ways to maintain this business and to really sustain it and grow it? And then determine also, when the seasons change, how will you maintain the marketing? How will you maintain the growth? How will you maintain that cultivation? And so when you have all of these put together, you can really combine all these different phases and come out with a great plan of action. And also you can really evaluate whether it makes sense or not for your business. So I hope this was super helpful. And I am going to be linking the post-pandemic business prep guide as well to kind of help you and guide you through the process. Again, if you have any questions, absolutely reach out to me. I am more than happy to talk to you, to answer questions. And again, if this was helpful, leave a review and also share with your friends. Tell them what you feel and share with me on Instagram, and tag GBP Law on it and let me know what you're thinking, because it really helps me also to know what you want. Just like I was talking about earlier, I need to know what you want, and I want to serve you the best way I can. So definitely don't be shy. Share the love with your friends, share the love on iTunes, and I will catch you next week on Thursday.